This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very pleased to be speaking with Sam Neill about Apples Never Fall. How are you, Sam?
Good morning, Abe. I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Can you tell me how you became attached to this project and whether you were familiar with Leanne Moriarty's other books, Big Little Lies and Nine Perfect Strangers?
Yeah, I hadn't seen Nine Perfect Strangers yet, but I'd seen Big Little Lies and absolutely loved it, and so many great performances in that, and such an intriguing story. So that's what first got me interested in this. I I was a little bit reluctant to um, take it on because I had to look like a gun tennis player, and um, I thought that would be a stretch. I'm not a particularly sporty sort of person, and I thought that might be one step too far. But I got a lot of help with that ultimately, and uh, I think I looked pretty convincing by the end.
I think so, but there's really
I
not a
think
lot
so.
to like about Stan. Did you connect with anything about him?
Yeah, there's not a lot to like about Stan, but it'd be a dull life for an actor just playing likable characters, and I've played some characters that are particularly unpleasant. uh, and they're a lot of fun. And Stan was fun too. I mean, he's complex, and it required a lot of, I don't know, nuance or something. He's someone that people look up to, but he's disappointed in himself. He has I think it's fair to say, a certain measure of the bully in him particularly when it comes to his children. That's not very attractive. and Uh, but uh, a lot of it comes from a good place. I think it's misdirected, and I've it's not. I I felt empathy for him. I didn't like, it's not someone I'd like particularly, but I did feel a certain measure of empathy for him. I think he's probably damaged very early on in his life. We all have our reasons, don't we?
What was it like working with Annette Bening and just building such a confrontational relationship?
Um, well, it's a bit like playing tennis, isn't it? The better your opponent, the better you play, and there's no one better than Annette. And um, we got on really well from day one, uh, and and confrontation is fun to play. And we enjoyed ourselves. I really enjoyed being with her, and enjoyed acting with her. She's a really good person and a fabulous actor. And uh, the 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 more the more the more that's going on in a scene, the happier I was.
What can
Whether
you
it's
say?
confrontation or in the end, Stan adores her, and it's when she goes missing, that sense of complete despair that that she's not there, and who knows what's happened to her.
What can you say about your other co-stars?
Oh, I love those guys. We're very a close family actually, and they're such good actors too. And we made sure that was easy. We made sure that we were a family in a kind of sense, and we hung out together. We'd go out we'd go out at night and you know shoot the breeze. um, they're all very different sort of individuals, but everyone had a great sense of humor in common, and that's um that's a really important thing on the set.
So I want to talk about just spoilers for a moment. Would you have liked to see Stan end up guilty, or do you think this is the right ending for this story?
I uh, that's an interesting question. That for me, there was never any question in my mind that, and this is a spoiler, that that Stan, certainly in his own mind, is an innocent man. Uh, but then again, nothing's terribly straightforward in this, and everything that happens, everybody contributes, and his yeah, I if if Stan ended up guilty, it would mean that she was dead. We wouldn't want her to be dead now, would we?
That's true. Well, I've watched you a lot throughout the years, and I think that if I could resurrect 10 shows that were canceled too soon, Alcatraz would be very high at the top of that list. Do you have fond memories of that series?
I do. I like doing that a lot. I thought it was a spoiled opportunity. I loved the sort of meta story of it, of Alcatraz and these prisoners coming back. I thought that the network really buggered things up. It was their idea that there was a sort of crime of the week, so it had to be a sort of. It was not just a sort of sci-fi kind of uh, slightly and slightly, yeah, actually very dark story about really bad criminals coming back through some sort of portal. I thought that story was great, and uh, I loved all that, and that we rebuilt the jail and all that sort of thing. But it had to be sort of crime of the week, and that was stupid. If it had been left alone by the network to develop it in its own way as a long series television, it would have been absolutely fantastic. But it was their fault, and they cancelled it, and more fool they, because it could have been really good. And I love the cast, and I like my character a lot.
Well, speaking of something completely different, I really enjoyed Hunt for the Wilder People, and it's been fun seeing, Julian Dennison take off in lots of, more foul-mouthed roles. Have you been keeping up with his career?
Yeah, of course, and I like you know yeah, yeah he's going to do better and better. He's terrific, um and yeah, I loved that film too. I think it's a sort of I was telling someone the other day, it's a sort of important New Zealand film. I think it's one that has sort of healing properties in a way. I don't know if that's something you'd understand from that distance, but um, anyway, that's what I think, and it's great to see Julian doing lots of things, and um, so many of those people in that cast are friends of mine to this day. Um, I saw Rachel House, who plays the crazy social worker in it. I saw her last week, and Rima Te Wiata, who plays my wife in it. I saw her the week before. So, yeah, we sort of keep in touch, and yeah, it was a little bit of a sort of milestone, that film.
Well, it's not a canceled series or a small New Zealand indie, but Jurassic Park, I would imagine, has had a very big sort of force on your career. What has it been like, revisiting that role and just having that as one of your most notable parts over the course of your career?
Yeah, it's 30 years now, which is quite a long time. and um, yeah, it was fun to get back with those guys again, with Jeff and Laura in particular, because we go back a long way. Uh, and um, Bryce is a very special person, really good actor. Chris too, they were, and we were very fortunate in that we were at one stage the only film that was being made in the world. We were locked down at Pinewood in England under very strict kind of health protocols. And it was fun to revisit and run around with dinosaurs and so on. And yeah, it's one of those things that sort of, because most of the world has seen it, you kind of get sort of associated with that franchise forever, I suppose. And that's no bad thing. The great franchise.
Well, we love awards here at Awards Buzz, and I'm curious if there's any show or performance that you've been watching recently that you think is particularly awards worthy.
Oh, there's a New Zealand series. I don't know if it's been shown abroad, but I think it's really wonderful. It's called After the Party, and it has my friend Robin Malcolm playing the lead in it. That's something that I thought it should clean up everything in New Zealand. Certainly, I'd love to see it get some international awards. The other show that I like very much that you may have passed under the radar. It's on Netflix. It's called Boy Swallows Universe. It's an Australian show, and I really recommend that. That was terrific. So there's a couple of sort of lesser known things that I would fully endorse.
On the subject of lesser known things, is there a role from your career that people never ask you about that you really wish you got to talk about more?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I often think about, a lot of things you do just kind of disappear for one reason or another. There was a film I made in the 90s. It's called Victory, with Willem Dafoe and Rufus Sewell and a number of others. And I played in I played I played probably the worst psychopath I've ever played. He was a posh Englishman, drug addicted, and some sort of terrible sort of a predator. And we shot it in Java. And it was a sort of it was a very loose. I had a sort of white linen suit that was always filthy, and an old school tie, and and just an absolutely unredeemable character. But no one saw the film, so no one's ever talked to me about the part because it's completely unseen. So there
I'm
you
sure
go.
we I'm sure we can find it somewhere. Thank you so much, Sam. It's such a pleasure to speak with you.
There's probably a reason why no one's seen it. I, but anyway, I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying that's the part that I'd like someone to say something about one day, but I don't think they ever will.
We'll stick to Hunt for the Wilder People and Apples Never Fall, I think.
Good. Thanks very much, Abe.
Thanks so much, Sam. Take care.